Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. Excited to have our guest, Dr. Pamela Fox, joining us here today, and CEO, Clinical Director from Synergy Counseling and Coaching Center in Arlington, Texas. Welcome back today. How are you?
I'm doing very well. The sun has come out here in Texas, and we're feeling really good now that we're into the season of spring.
Beautiful. Excited to have you back. And
Thank you.
I know we're going to continue last week's conversation, but first, would you mind just sharing a little bit about, yourself and what you do?
Absolutely. Again, I am Reverend Dr. Pamela Fox. I'm the Chief Empathy Officer, CEO, if you will, and Clinical Director of the Synergy Counseling and Coaching Center and Foxfire Outreach Ministries in Arlington, Texas. I provide mental health therapy as well as transformational life coaching, primarily working with adults. I'm a licensed clinical social worker by profession, and feel real good about being here with you today, Jill.
Beautiful. Same here. Thanks so much. And how can we find you?
My website is www.pamelafox.net. Again, that's www.pamelafox.net. My email address is drpamfox@att.net. Again, that's Dr. Pam Fox at att.net.
Perfect. Thanks so much. And just if you don't mind recapping a little bit what we spoke about last time before we move along for today.
Very good. Last time we talked about trauma-informed care with older adults. And today I was going to kind of generalize it to the larger population because a lot of people are dealing with trauma in addition to older adults, but just a lot of people, children, adolescents, young adults, middle-aged adults, and older adults. And so just to define trauma is a person's response to a very distressing life experience. It could be one experience or a number of experiences. Example, a really bad catastrophic illness or accident or weather condition like a tornado or hurricane, and other kinds of traumas that may come up in people's lives, including sexual abuse, financial abuse, other kinds of situations that a lot of people have encountered during the course of their lifetime.
Perfect.
So the question that one would ask as a therapist, a counselor, with the person who's gone through a trauma is not what's wrong with you, but what happened to you. You want to hear their situation, their narrative story, if you will, in terms of what happened to them. So you can have a better understanding as to how to be of support, be an active listener, and to help them to navigate these very challenging situations.
That's why we have you, the best, near us. All right.
And so what some people who have encountered traumas have encountered, and a recent example, if you will, is COVID-19, the public health pandemic. A lot of people are still recovering from that in terms of personal health challenges they faced, loss of loved ones during that time, loss of their usual everyday activities, going to work and going to school. They might have been a frontliner or first responder, and so a lot of challenges associated with being operating in that capacity. And some of the outcomes for some folks who are still dealing with the after effects of trauma are loneliness, isolation, despair, lack of life satisfaction, post-traumatic stress disorder, those kind of situations. And it can show up behaviorally, it can show up cognitively, it can show up in relationships, as well as emotionally. We see all sorts of signs and symptoms. And with that too, there are different types of trauma, such as acute, like something happened today, or chronic, it happened a long time ago, and you're still feeling the after effects of that. Complex, because there's a lot of different kind of traumas, or vicarious or secondary trauma, because you've heard very sad, traumatic stories from people again and again, a nurse, a physician, a social worker, and it could lead to what's called caregiver burnout for those who are caring for loved ones. And there may be issues for some people of what's called adverse childhood experiences and or adverse community environments. They call it the pair of ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, adverse community environments. Yeah. So what I wanted to share with your audience today, Jill, is I kind of laid out what the situation is, kind of the problem identification, if you will. Again, behaviorally, it could show up in terms of regressed behavior or anger, in terms of thinking. Person can have brain fog or flashbacks or triggers In terms of relational issues, there could be avoidance in terms of wanting to interact with people, or they may have some survivors guilt or shame. And emotionally, persons can have anxiety, depression, numbness, emotional dysregulation, and they feel maybe easily startled or things of that nature. And so that's some of the problem identification. But today I wanted to come up and share with the audience, your audience, some solutions to how to cope and heal from trauma.
Oh, and let's talk about some of those types of ways that you're helping people.
Very good. So in terms of, again, the work that I do, I focus in on what's called trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy. Cognitive having to do with thinking, behavior having to do with what you do, and therapy has to do with healing. So in cognitive behavioral therapy, some of the steps and processes that are involved here is taking a look at or giving an opportunity for a person to talk about their thoughts and feelings about the trauma, to provide some what's called psychoeducation. So it's like a teachable moment, sometimes curriculum based, or like I use flip charts or whiteboards to talk about different tips and things that people need to know related to trauma processing, to help people learn how to de-stress and to be less reactive with various stressors. A very interesting therapeutic intervention that I've been trained in is called eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, also known as EMDR. And it helps for people to lower their levels of distress and to deal with the traumatic memories through a very specific kind of specialized process, which I provide with certain clients who want to do that. There's some other things called psychological first aid, which looks at resilience, focusing on resilience. And resilience just simply is known as your ability to bounce back, your ability to bounce back from situations that have happened. Also looking at stress management skills, especially through mindfulness and deep breathing. Some people like yoga. All of that is part of the umbrella, if you will, of what's called coping strategies. Coping strategies. Some more are expressive art. So like drawing, art therapy, humor. You gotta find the humor in some of this stuff, because some of this stuff is so ridiculous. You gotta laugh about it somehow. Prayer, for those folks who like to pray, meditation, reframing. So you reframe situations from being totally negative to trying to extrapolate what was a positive, if anything, that came out of that situation, life lessons learned from that, trying to pull that out of a really bad or a very difficult or tragic or catastrophic situation. The issue of forgiveness is under the heading of coping strategies, as well as something called body tapping, also known as the emotional freedom technique, where you tap various parts of your body so you can get some relief from some of the stressors that you're going through that way. And people can be trained to do it, and they may be doing it on the subway. And you say, what's wrong with that person? They're doing tapping, and it really helps to help people to de-stress. Some of the relaxation techniques that are on the list of therapeutic interventions are, I mentioned deep breathing. So deep breathing, like putting your feet flat on the floor, grounding yourself with your feet, sitting back in your chair, closing your eyes for a few seconds, and just take an inhale, exhale, and release. So let's practice that. Let's do that right quick.
Okay, let's do it. I'm in my chair. I'm ready.
Flat on the floor, your shoulders are back, your back is back in the chair. You close your eyes for a few seconds, so you listen to my instructions. So on the count of 3, you're going to take in a deep breath through your nose, take the breath low to your belly button. You'll hold it for a few seconds, and then you'll slowly exhale out of your mouth. So you slowly, because you don't want to hyperventilate. So on the count of 3, we'll just do it one time. 1, 2, 3. Inhale through your nose. Take the breath low to your belly button. Hold it. Slowly, slowly, slowly exhale out of your mouth, making a whooshing sound if you can, as the air comes out. Very good, very good. I'll sit still for just a second. You open your eyes and you come back into this space. It's a really good technique. Anybody can do it. And you can do it 3 times or 5 times or 20 times. as many times as you like to. And it's a really cool way of de-stressing.
Okay.
Really cool. Just
Good.
don't do it while you're driving.
No, definitely not.
Or while you're flying a plane, don't do that. Don't do that. But the other thing too that one can do for relaxation is called the butterfly technique.
What's that?
Butterfly technique looks like this.
Okay.
You cross your arms, and then you just slowly pat yourself on your shoulders. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. The speed is up to you. If you go fast, maybe you need to go a little
Slower
faster
or slower. I'm like,
or slower.
Okay,
You're
okay.
trying to de-stress, so you
Yes.
might want to go slow. But children and teenagers really love this, and older adults. I mean, everybody loves this. It's called the butterfly technique.
Okay.
It's a real neat way to de-stress. You can close your eyes and you can count quietly to yourself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can stop and you can continue or not, but it's really cool.
Okay.
It's really, really nice. Again, some other relaxation techniques, the art therapy, for those who like to draw or those who can't draw. Everybody can draw. Everybody's an artist. We all used Crayola crayons back in the day. So everybody's an artist. Everybody, likes to play with chalk, from what we remember back in grade school.
Yeah.
Music therapy. Music heals the soul. It ministers to us in a different way at a different level of vibration. So music therapy is way cool.
Okay.
Massage therapy for those who like that. It's because it's engaging the body in a different kind of way. Our muscles are tense. And what the massage therapy does is that it helps to loosen some of that tension in our muscles. The saying is that the body keeps the score. So the body keeps a score about how you're doing holistically, body, soul, and spirit. And so if the tension's going to go somewhere, it's going to go into your muscles, into your body.
Yeah.
And the massage therapist knows when you're a little stressed out. She or he can tell as they touch your body, and they know how to relax those muscles. But the thing is that the therapists, massage therapists, art therapists, mental health therapists, we all need to be working on our own stuff offline, in our own space and time with our own support people, counselor, whoever that might be, because the healer has to be working on their own healing. Otherwise, they're doing a disservice to their clients. Because then they're transferring negativity, negative energy, and what have you to their clients, either verbally or in terms of laying hands on people. And so the therapists, massage therapists, art therapists, music therapists, mental health therapists, they have to be mindful about working on their own issues offline so that they can present their best self to their clients. Yeah. Very important. Very important. And then the other one that people don't talk about a whole lot, but it's really a really cool thing, is called ECO therapy, which is going outside and communing with nature. Going outside and being in touch with nature. Something about nature is very, very therapeutic. Very, very therapeutic. Going outside, like today, like the sun is out here now. It was cloudy earlier today, but now the sun is out. And sunshine provides us with vitamin D, which helps to lessen stress, anxiety, and depression. So getting a little bit of sunshine is a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. So what do you think?
I feel really relaxed. I don't know if it was this or the tapping or the you made me feel comfortable to be comfortable in my own chair, which normally I'm like this, but now I'm like in a good way. I feel relaxed.
Just chill and be still, It's a wonderful
Yes.
thing. Yeah. But the grounding and the centering and the deep breathing and all of that seems like it's pretty simplistic, and it really is. But we in our busy lives, we don't do enough of that. And we're like at a high level of stress. I often tell my clients on a stress scale of 0 to 10, since the last time we met, what number would you give yourself? And sometimes they come in, they say, I'm a 9. I said, really?
Uh-huh. What?
What happened? What happened to you over the past 2 weeks? And they tell me their situation and so forth. So we have to do a self check-in and see where we at on the distress levels. 0, no distress, 10, extremely stressed, and kind of do that on a daily basis.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right.
So a couple of other things as we're now relaxed. Journaling is a wonderful thing. Writing it down, making it plain. It helps the brain to process information in a different way, very therapeutic. And sometimes people really get into it. It's not like a diary per se, but you
Mm-hmm.
can date and time it. But it's a way of you processing your thoughts and feelings for your eyes only on paper. Creative visualization. So you imagine yourself in the most beautiful place, vacation spot you've been to or you've never been to, and take the time out to visualize that by the water or where the green forest is or the sandy beach, whatever the case may be, to have that creative visualization going on. And some other very therapeutic things that help people that are dealing with trauma is cleansing.
Okay.
Could be a cleansing bath.
Wow.
Or a cleansing shower, where like in the bath you put your scented oils in there, so you get some of that aromatherapy as well in the hot water. And it's so good for your muscles, especially if you have a little bit of arthritis like me. And it's very cleansing in that cleansing bath. And again, the aromatherapy, I have my diffuser going on in my other room right now, and the smell is lemon peel. It smells wonderful.
I love my sister just got some new like lemon soap where she's doing her dishes with it, and I'm like,
Oh my
I
goodness.
forgot about that smell. Like I haven't smelled
Yes,
lemons, and so I don't even
yes,
eat
yes,
or
yes.
drink lemon. So I'm like,
Oh my
it
goodness.
smells good. It reminds me of the
Oh my
spring.
God. Yeah. And the lemons is just the smell. I mean, it's good for your body, but the
Yeah.
smell is so wonderful. So I encourage people to check out aromatherapy, and then aqua therapy, especially for people like myself. I have osteoarthritis, wear and tear on the knees and feet. And so that aqua therapy, going swimming in the pool when you can, is also very therapeutic, especially if the water is warm. It's really, really, really nice. Exercise or dance movement therapy is cool. And then for some people, spirituality and or religion, spirituality in terms of being connected with your higher power. And then religion is organized faith communities. Something about being with other like-minded people
Yeah.
that's very, very healing, very healing. So that's the short list that I
Oh.
have. Yeah.
Huh. What other techniques? We have only 5 minutes left in the show because we got a late start. My goodness.
I would say that for the clients should again be mindful about those who are healing from trauma, about safety first. They have to be conscious about their own safety and the safety of others. Sometimes I have to tell my clients, because they may be emotionally dysregulated, to do no harm to self, others, or damage property. But sometimes people get really worked up and very dysregulated and sometimes very angry, and they may have thoughts that are not positive. So I suggest to them safety first for themselves and for others. And then it's a necessity for the client to work on trustworthiness and transparency, being clear, especially if they're working with a therapist, to be truthful about what's going on with them, and to try to be as transparent and forthcoming as they can be, to avail themselves of social support. There's something about being with other humans, positive humans, that is very therapeutic. And those positive people can serve as accountability partners for us. Like, are you okay? You want to go get a cup of coffee or
Yeah.
something? Yeah. And they hold us accountable. And then being willing to collaborate and look at mutuality in relationships. I help you, you help me, that kind of thing, just working it out. Knowing about empowerment. I went to a talk last week, and the speaker was talking about, is it really about empowerment or is it about repowering? I said, wow. And so he went on to define what repowering means, that it affirms that we already have the power. We just got to get replugged in. Like your phone, you get recharged.
Like the new EVs or the electric charge cars, right?
So get plugged in again. And that we have to recognize that we have a voice and that we can make choices.
Yeah.
So voice and choice, and then looking at any issues, cultural issues, historical issues, gender issues, because those issues can be traumatizing as well. Like your culture is devalued. People may be not cognizant of their history in terms of their ancestors and their story. And then issues related to gender, unfortunately, sexism is still a thing. Racism is a thing. Classism is still a thing. Elitism and all the phobias that we can think of, that we have to be mindful about that and try not to go there. And if we see it, we speak on it, voice and choice, so that we can try to live healthier and happier lives. And then for the providers, we have to practice, like we practiced today, Jill, deep breathing, that we have to pace ourselves, don't get too overwhelmed, that we have to take a break, don't be a workaholic. We have to be very cognizant about self-care and self-compassion and stress management. And lastly, to be kind. Be kind. What a concept. Just be kind.
Well, thank you so much again for being here.
My pleasure.
Remind us how we can contact you.
My contact information again, my website, www.PamelaFox.net. Again, www.PamelaFox.net. And my email address, drpamfox@att.net. Again, that's drpamfox@att.net. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a fantastic day, Pam. Looking forward to the next time we connect.
Thank you so much.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.